The next speaker should be, and it will be, but not his physical presence, but through his paper, Dimitry Tribushny, who is in Donetsk and who couldn't join us, or who tried actually to come, but we don't know what's happened in the meantime. Well, and he had to cancel. His paper is Saint Justin of Ćelije, an original thinker, and my colleague Sarah will present this paper.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So first of all, I would like to apologize if I misread some of the scientific terms that you use, because I'm not from your area of study. One of the main tasks in the study of Saint Justin is to overcome myths surrounding the Venerable. Most ecclesiastical and historical research knows Justin Popović to be an ardent defender of orthodoxy, reproducing the ideas of early fathers. His own theology is regarded as the theology of enlightenment, the theology of reiteration. It is non-standard in form, but traditional in its content. It is not by accident that the majority of works on Father, the description dominates the analysis. Can we therefore speak of the original thought in the works of, by Saint Justin? Venerable Justin Popović is the only saint who dared to combine writings of the early fathers with the Russian religious and philosophic Renaissance. He introduces into the course of dogmatic theology the debatable notions of pan-unity, the God-manliness, unknown to Holy Fathers. Notably, the key notions used by Vladimir Solvyolov and proto-priest Sergei Bulgakov were perceived as alien in the system based on the writings of early fathers. The theology of Venerable Justin Popović is indeed the theology of pan-unionism and theanthropism. In this sense, Venerable Justin of Ćelije is the last representative of the metaphysics of pan-unionism in the 20th century, and perhaps the only representative of its orthodox variety. What then is the obstacle on the way to overcoming the stereotypical perception of the Venerable legacy? First and foremost, it is the mythologization of his image. In the contemporary study of Saint Justin, all the versality of his life and creative work is reduced to protective dimension, which is due to the absence of a systematic description of his thought. At first sight, the main ideas of Popović were collected in his opus magnum, Dogmatics of the Orthodox Church, Orthodox Philosophy of Truth. In actual fact, Orthodox philosophy is only a part of the system, a system within another system. The thought of Father Justin is not developed linearly, as in the case with Bulgakov or Balthazar, but predominantly in a spiral fashion. We come across various parts of the system in such his work as The Philosophy and Religion of Dostoevsky, Svetosavlje kao izvor života, or Saint Saveism as the Philosophy of Life, the Orthodox Church and Ecumenism, and due to this eternal reoccurrence, the key ideas of Popović are not just reiterated at every new spiral turn, but are filled with new content. As a consequence, a scholar attempting to describe the teaching of Venerable Justin based only on one variant of the system will inevitably simplify his thought. In line with the teaching of Popović, distinct from the traditional scholastic theology, ontogenic affinity does not unite the Creator and the man, God-likeness in the essence of the Word. Therefore, divine incarnation in the essence and the aim of being for all created beings. All beings are created in order to embody God, the Word, to the fullest extent possible, to divinize themselves, to be part of the Word, and to be one with Him. Therefore, everything is created by Him and for Him. In this way, Nativity of Christ is not only a response to the divine love to the fall, but also the realization of the initial creator's idea of the Word as panunity, the Word which incarnates Logos. Hence, we can assume that Logos would have incarnated even if Adam had not sinned in heaven. This aspect of the teaching of the Venerable Justin of Ćelije reminds us of one episode from the dispute about Sofia. Criticizing Father Sergei Bulgakov, Metropolitan Sergius Stargrodsky remarks, according to Bulgakov, incarnation of the God's Son is not only an accident in the universal plan, but on the contrary, it is for sake of incarnation that God created the universe. The possibility and even the necessity of incarnation of God is in the very nature of things, as there exists a congruity between the God and the man. For Metropolitan Sergius, such ideas are unacceptable. But the cherished thought of the Venerable Justin about the naturalness of incarnation is also based on the ideas of the initial predestination of the universe to incarnate the Creator and the congruity between the God, the man, as well as the whole of creation. Whereas for Metropolitan Sergius, the fall is unnatural and the incarnation therefore accidental. For Father Justin, the fall is unnatural, while the incarnation of Logos is natural, in a sense necessary. For the very beginning of the universe, it is created as the reality to be able to accept God, to contain one with whom nothing can contain. In the dispute about Sophia, Metropolitan Sergius Starogrodsky considers the historical perspectives of the nativity of Christ, while Father Sergei Bulgakov considers the ontological perspective. As for Venerable Justin, due to the unity and mutual influence on the two layers in his system, the ontological and the historical, he comes across as a conciliator. In history, there are no givens. Historically, incarnation follows the fall, but it is unacceptable to reduce reasons for incarnation to mere soteriology. Venerable Justin, just like Vladimir Solovyov, denies the existence of the independent created nature and in some cases expresses ideas which are formally close to pantheism. In the end, the basis of everything visible is invisible. The basis of the man is his soul, the basis of the world is God. The invisible is the hypostasis of everything, the basis of everything, the substance of everything. It is what the world and everything in it stand on. In the system of Popovich, the soul of the world narrative typical for the Russian representatives of pan-unionism remains unfinished. Epistemological character of this agapeic force of love, the pleasant feeling aroused by watching the moon, leaves, is what remains of our blood, organic, spiritual affinity with them, the proof of our con-corporality, con-animity, con-substantiality. After all, every person and creature are the fragments of the soul shattered by sin, the common universal soul and common universal body. Obviously, the above-mentioned ideas are alien to the scholastic theology. In some cases, they are in direct contradiction to it. That said, the teaching about the unconditioned incarnation was developed by Venerable Maximus, the Confessor, and the Saint George Palamas. While the Theopan the Recluse and Father Vasily Zenkovsky allowed the existence of the universal soul. Interestingly, Father Justin is particularly the only distinguished Christian theologian in the 20th century who refused to be involved in the dispute about Sophia. His refusal is still more surprising in view of his well-known reputation as an ardent defender of the orthodoxy. The behavior of Popovich, a person marked by absolute imperiality, cannot be attributed to the admiration for the personality of the leading representatives of the pan-unionism philosophy. It may be that his mysterious silence results from understanding the proximity of his own teaching to certain provisions of the philosophy of pan-unionism. It would be a mistake to regard the legacy of Popović as the sum total of religious and philosophic influences. To trace the historical connection between his ideas and Russian metaphysics, it is not always possible. Once the prayer diary of this man of faith was published, it was possible to claim that the mystery of pan-unity was not only understood but also experienced by the Venerable. 11th January. The complete sensation of the universal coalescence with all creation, the universal interconnection of all type experienced by Adam before the fall. Man before the fall felt all creation to be the living, organic part of his own self. The word of stars was the solid part of his conscious and self-knowledge, the part of one substance with him. Saint Justin, the innovator, does not merely reproduce the intuitions of the philosophy of Pan-Unionism. He corrects them, introduces them into the church life and to the world of the Orthodox tradition. Thereby, the Reverened widens our perception of true boundaries of the Orthodoxy.
Thank you.